It doesn't matter how good you are, you're gonna mess up eventually.
Favre sprints to his right, throws back across the middle, and he's intercepted. Porter.
No matter how great an NFL player or team is, it's important to remember this. You win some, and you lose some. Let's dive into 10 instances where a big-named NFL star messed up at the wrong time. Russell Wilson in Super Bowl 49. There are countless what-ifs in the history of the NFL, but the whole what-if Seattle handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch thing in Super Bowl 49 is truly in its own class. You all know the story by now. A jaw-dropping Jermaine Kearse catch late in the game had Seattle in position to repeat as Super Bowl champions. On 1st and goal, Lynch was tackled half a yard short of the goal line. As the clock dwindled, Patriots head coach Bill Belichick curiously decided to save his timeouts. Pete Carroll, meanwhile, inexplicably called for Wilson to throw a slant to Ricardo Lockett at the 1-yard line, but rookie corner Malcolm Butler read the play and picked it off. Calling a pass play was ridiculous enough to begin with, but Wilson totally screwed up by throwing it in the one spot where Butler would be able to pick it off. That costly gaffe ended Seattle's chances at a second straight championship, and it marked the beginning of the end of this club that had aspirations of creating a dynasty. The locker room morale was just never the same. If Wilson didn't commit the worst mistake of his playing career at the worst possible time, who knows how many more rings the Seahawks could have won with that core. Brett Favre in 2009 NFC Championship game. For all his greatness on the field, perhaps no Super Bowl winning quarterback had more brutal late-game postseason gaffes than Brett Favre. You can't forget the pick he threw to Brian Dawkins in overtime of the Green Bay Packers' overtime loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in the 2003 NFC Divisional Round. Or, his final pass as a Packer. But without a doubt, Favre's absolute worst career mistake came in the 2009 NFC Championship game. Favre led the Minnesota Vikings to that big game against the top-seeded New Orleans Saints. The game was tied 28-all with 19 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, and Minnie had the ball at the New Orleans 38-yard line. Facing a 3rd and 15 situation, Favre rolled right and committed the cardinal sin of throwing across his body. The ball went right into the waiting hands of Tracy Porter, who saved the Saints' season. The interception was dumb enough to begin with. Rewind that clip, and you can see that Favre had a bunch of room ahead of him to run forward and make the field goal more manageable. But he forgot the basic rules of quarterbacking 101 and cost the Vikings big time. Peyton Manning in Super Bowl 44. The Sheriff won his 4th NFL MVP award in 2009 by completing 68.8% of his pass attempts for 4,500 yards and 33 touchdowns. The Colts clinched football's best record at 14-2 and cruised their way through the AFC to reach Super Bowl 44. Manning's Colts met Drew Brees' Saints in the big dance. Indy jumped out to a 10-0 lead, but a series of blunders, including that botched onside kick recovery to start the second half, opened the door for New Orleans to take the lead. A Brees touchdown pass to Jeremy Shockey and a successful 2-point conversion put the Saints up by a touchdown with 5 minutes 42 seconds remaining. The Colts marched down the field and faced a 3rd and 5 at the New Orleans 31 with 3 minutes 24 seconds remaining. Manning took the snap and instantly targeted go-to man Reggie Wayne, but Tracy Porter, who ruined Brett Favre's year 2 weeks earlier, did the same thing to Manning. First Favre, and then Manning. The 2009 season was quite the year for all 10 great QBs to screw up at the worst possible time. The Saints forced a turnover on downs on the ensuing possession, winning 31-17 to clinch their first ever Super Bowl title. And much of it was thanks to a brutal late-game gaffe by Manning. Ernest Byner in 1987 AFC Championship game. Byner was a star running back for both Washington and the Cleveland Browns. He was on the legendary 91 Washington squad that cruised to a Super Bowl 26 championship. Unfortunately, Byner is best known for his unforgettable blunder in the 1987 AFC title game between his Browns and John Elway's Denver Broncos. The Browns were trailing 38-31 with 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining. Facing a 2nd and 5 situation at the Denver's 8-yard line, quarterback Bernie Kosar handed the ball off to Cleveland's star running back. Byner rushed to the left and looked poised to reach the end zone, only to be stripped of the football by Jeremiah Castile near the 3-yard line. The Broncos recovered the football and melted most of the clock. They conceded a safety and held on for a 38-33 win. Honestly, Byner's fumble pretty much sums up the whole history of the Browns.
So I get ready to run over Lily. I pull the ball in, get ready to lower my shoulder so I can run over Lily. Fumble. How do you heal from that?
Wes Welker in Super Bowl 46. Welker was one of the NFL's premier wide receivers during his 6-year run with the Patriots, which spanned from 2007 to 2012. The Patriots reached 2 Super Bowls in that span, both losses to the New York Giants. Welker, of course, wasn't at fault for the team's heartbreaking Super Bowl 42 loss to the Giants, which ended their bid of a perfect season. He led all receivers in the big game with 11 catches for 103 yards after all. Now, Super Bowl 46, on the other hand, well, that marked the game that Welker would surely like to have back. New England led 17-15 with 4 minutes remaining. New York had just 1 timeout remaining, so a couple more first downs would have iced the game for the Patriots. On 2nd and 11, Tom Brady spotted a wide-open Welker inside the Giants' 25-yard line, but the sure-handed receiver somehow failed to corral it. The Giants forced a punt 2 plays later, and you know what happened next. Eli Manning finds Mario Manningham for an all-time unforgettable sideline catch to get the drive started. Ahmad Bradshaw scores the go-ahead touchdown with 57 seconds remaining, and then the Giants defense holds for a 21-17 win. Welker was Brady's go-to man for half a decade, almost never dropping those easy catches. But man, he sure picked the worst possible time to mess that up. Patrick Mahomes in 2021 AFC Championship game. The Kansas City Chiefs jumped out to a 21-3 lead over Joe Burrow's Cincinnati Bengals in the 2021 AFC Championship game. The Bengals got a late touchdown before the end of halftime to cut the deficit to 11. It was all Cincinnati in the second half, though. 2 Evan McPherson field goals and a Joe Burrow touchdown to Jamar Chase with a successful 2-point conversion helped the Bengals build a 27-24 lead late in the fourth. Facing a 3rd and goal situation from the Cincy 9, Mahomes got too cute and was strip sacked by Sam Hubbard. Chiefs guard Joe Thuney bailed out Mahomes by jumping on the loose football, but the Chiefs had to settle for a Harrison Butker field goal to send the game to overtime. The Chiefs got the ball first in the extra frame, and that's when Mahomes committed the biggest mistake of his otherwise all-world career. On 3rd down, Mahomes forced a deep pass to Tyreek Hill in double coverage, and Von Bell made him pay. Set up with great field position, Joe Burrow and the Cincy offense made easy work of the Chiefs' D. That set the stage for McPherson to play hero with a 31-yard field goal. On the bright side, the Chiefs would beat Cincinnati in the AFC title rematch a year later en route to a Super Bowl 57 championship. And you know, a little comeuppance never hurts. Tom Brady in Super Bowl 52. You may think that Brandon Graham's strip sack on Brady late in Super Bowl 52 is why the GOAT lands on this list. But no, we're talking about an actual blunder in which the blame is entirely on Brady and no one else. Rewind back to the second quarter. The Patriots are trailing the Eagles 9-3 early in the frame with a pivotal 3rd and 5 situation in Philly territory. The Pats call up a trick play in which James White takes a handoff, flips it to Danny Amendola, who then throws it to a wide-open Brady. Nobody even went out to cover TB12, but he still couldn't haul in the pass. The Patriots proceeded to turn it over on downs, and the Eagles made New England pay with LeGarrette Blount scoring a touchdown to increase the Philly lead. And now, to make Brady's blunder even worse, Eagles QB Nick Foles recorded a receiving touchdown on the Philly special late in the first half. So yeah, the game somehow came down to which QB had the better hands. The Eagles went on to win that game 41-33. If Brady hauls in that pass, there's a good chance New England gets a touchdown and thwarts another scoring drive for the Eagles. You see, kids, even the GOATs have their bad moments at the worst times. Tony Romo in 2006 NFC Wildcard Round. The undrafted product saw 0 meaningful playing time in his first 3 years with the Dallas Cowboys, but in the midst of the 2006 season, head coach Bill Parcells decided to give Romo a look over the struggling Drew Bledsoe. Romo won 6 of 10 starts and helped Dallas lock down the number 5 seed in the NFC with a 9-7 record. Their Wildcard Round opponents, the defending NFC champion Seattle Seahawks. Romo and Matt Hasselbeck went back and forth in an epic duel that came down to the very wire. Dallas trailed 21-20 with 4 minutes and 18 seconds remaining, but Romo pieced together a surgical drive to put the Cowboys in position to win. Facing a 4th and 1 at the Seattle 2, Parcells curiously called for the Cowboys to boot a 19-yard field goal, knowing Seattle would still have over a minute to work with. Worse yet, the Cowboys trusted Romo to hold the snap for kicker Martin Gramatica since Romo had so much experience at doing it as a backup. Well, we all know how that worked out. Jackie Smith in Super Bowl 13. Smith was one of the NFL's first great tight ends, earning 4 second-team All-Pro and 5 Pro Bowl nods during his 15-year tenure with the St. Louis Cardinals. Looking to win a ring late in his career, Smith joined the Tom Landry and Roger Staubach-led Cowboys for the 1978 season. Dallas used Smith for his strong blocking skills, but they would set him up for one last signature moment in Super Bowl 13 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Trailing by 7 points late in the third quarter, the Cowboys were looking to convert on a pivotal third-and-goal play. Staubach spotted a wide-open Smith for what should have been the easiest reception of his career, but the Hall of Fame tight end dropped it. That would sadly overshadow Smith's otherwise flawless career. The Cowboys had to settle for a field goal there instead of tying the game, and they wound up losing by 4 points. So Smith's drop was essentially the difference. Gary Anderson in 1998 NFC Championship game. Look away, Vikings fans, because we know this one probably hurts more than the Brett Favre 2009 NFC Championship fiasco. The 1998 Vikings might be the greatest team to never play in a Super Bowl. Led by Randall Cunningham and the dynamic receiver duo of Randy Moss and Chris Carter, the 98 Vikings scored 556 points, a single-season record that stood for 9 whole years. If that wasn't tough enough for opponents, consider this. Kicker Gary Anderson made all 35 of his field goals and extra points in the regular season. He made both field goal attempts and every extra point in the team's divisional round win over the Arizona Cardinals too. So the Vikings obviously didn't have to worry about special teams in their NFC Championship clash with the Atlanta Falcons, right? Well, Anderson then lined up for a 38-yard kick, which would have all but clinched a ticket to Super Bowl 33. And because Vikings fans can't have nice things, even more heartbreak ensued from there. But which other instances did an NFL star totally mess up at the wrong time? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.